stress points for Utah State defensively. Hunter Reynolds, though, at that safety spot, really experienced and good.
Boy, is he, Rich. He's the undisputed leader, both on and off the field. Everybody rallies and relies upon him. He's the most stable player they've got defensively and really stepped up from a leadership standpoint.
The season's coming up, and you're not where you want to be on the depth chart. Luckily, you clicked on the right video, because as someone who started his college career as a walk-on and worked his way all the way up to being highlighted on broadcasts, I know a thing or two about working your way up a depth chart. So grab a pen and paper, get ready to take some notes. Also, like, share, subscribe, and drop in the comments below what your goals are for this season. But let's get to the video. Tip number 1, control the basic controllables. With this tip, I really mean controlling your attitude, your effort, your conditioning, your timeliness, because all those things are things that if you're not doing them as someone who's not playing, your coaches aren't gonna take you seriously to get playing time. I mean, the amount of times in my career I've seen people complain about their spot on the depth chart, complain about playing time, and then miss runs in conditioning, show up late to meetings and workouts, sulk around the facility. It's like, yo, you can't do the most basic of things correctly. Why would anyone think that you can do anything more complex? And as a result, the coaches are gonna see this, and along with the rest of your teammates, they're just gonna be like, yo, this dude's unserious, and as a result, you're gonna be glued to the bench. Tip number 2, excel in your role. Now, just because you have a smaller role or you don't have the role you want doesn't mean you have to be content with it. But say you're a backup, or you're on a scout team, or you're just primarily a special teams player. If you're not doing well in those roles, coaches are gonna see that, and they're not gonna have any faith that you're gonna be able to handle a bigger role. Like a lot of guys, if they get put on scout team, they see this as a time to kind of bullshit that no one's watching. But in reality, the offensive coaches are watching the practices. The defensive coaches, believe it or not, are going to tune in time to time to watch the practices and just see how guys are doing. And they're also going to be hearing from offensive coaches who's developing, who's giving you guys a good look. And if your name's not getting brought up in there, then you're going to have a hard time moving up the depth chart. I mean, like I said, I started my career as a walk-on. I was on scout team my freshman year. I was really on scout team my sophomore year too. But my freshman year, I made sure I won scout team player of the week a couple times. My sophomore year, I won scout team player of the year. Ultimately helped me get on special teams, which playing on special teams ultimately helped me become a fixture in the defensive rotation. Not to mention, it's a very long football season and injuries are bound to happen. So you don't want to be in a position where you've been bullshitting the entire year, someone gets hurt, and now your coaches are looking to someone else to step up instead of you because they were taking scout team or special team seriously and you weren't. Tip number 3. You can't just be as good as the people you're competing against, you have to be better. Really, what a depth chart and what playing boils down to is how much trust your coaches have in you. So if you're behind someone on the depth chart, your coaches obviously trust them more to be on the field than they trust you. So you have to prove to your coaches that not only can they trust you as much, but that they can trust you more than the person that's ahead of you. Me personally, I've never been a freak athlete. I have average height, average weight, but I made sure that I played to my strengths on the football field. And by this, I mean, I've always been smart. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get extremely smart, know the playbook extremely well, inside and out, like the back of my hand. And as a result, that's going to help me play at a higher level than people who might be more athletic than me, but can't process and can't think as well as I can. Like if someone's ahead of you on the depth chart and they're smarter than you, bigger than you, faster than you, stronger than you, make more plays than you, it's going to be hard to overtake them. Like that's just the cold, hard truth. Tip number 4. Display consistency. Now, this kind of builds off the previous point, but like I said before, being on the field and playing is about the trust your coaches have in you. So if you're someone who one play you'll make a great play, touchdown catch, an interception, but the next play you're running the wrong route or you're playing the wrong coverage, that keeps coaches up at night that they hate that. They would much rather play the guy who might not make the flash plays, might not make the big plays, but they're always going to be in the right spot. So once you develop some consistency and your coaches see that, they're going to be much more willing and have much more trust to put you on the field. Tip number 5, talk to your coaches. Now, it is imperative that you do this step after, I repeat, after you've done everything else. Because if you have piss poor effort, if you're not performing in your current role, if you're not consistent in practice, then talking to your coach isn't going to do anything because everything that you need to get better at are things that you can control. But if you are doing everything the right way, talking to your coaches can be a vital tool because, for instance, One time when I was at Michigan, I asked one of my coaches, all right, what can I do to play more? And he said, you're a smart guy, but we have guys that are more athletic than you, and their athleticism is helping them make more plays than you right now. So once I heard that, I was like, okay, you know, I can't do much to change my athleticism right now in, you know, in the middle of camp. But what I can do is I can start watching more film. I can understand the playbook better. I can take more notes. I can talk to coaches to understand the entire scheme of the defense. And as a result, it put me in a position to where now my intelligence is helping me make more plays than guys who are more athletic. And that ultimately helped me get on the field. Tip number 6. And if you've done everything before this, this is going to be the most difficult one. Capitalize on your opportunity. Once you start developing coaches' trust in practice, there's going to be a point in time when they're going to trust you to go in the game. And when that time comes, yo, I'm going to be straight up. You can't piss down your leg. I've seen plenty of guys, you know, they go through practice, go through meetings, go through walkthroughs. They're doing great. Then they get to the game and the light's just a little too bright for them. And once this happens, it's going to be hard to work your way back up, because now you've shown the coaches that, yeah, you know, you can excel in practice, you can perform in practice, but once the real thing comes, yeah, you know, it's a different story for you. So I don't have many tips for this one. It's really just, you know, once you get on the field, it's ball or get balled on. So you better do your thing. But those 6 tips right there are, in my opinion, what allowed me to go from being a walk-on lowest player on the totem pole at Michigan, working my way up the depth chart, ultimately earning a spot in the rotation and playing major minutes in games, all the way to transferring to Utah State and working my way up the depth chart there from, you know, second string guy to ultimately an All-American. So let me know if these tips helped you. Let me know if there are any more tips, any more football videos that you guys want to see that you think will help you for the season. Trust me, I've played football for a long time. I have plenty of knowledge on this stuff, so just let me know. But like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.